I'm sure many of us have bought onions at the store and brought them home and just have forgotten about them. You start moving stuff around in your pantry and you realize that you have these onions that have all this green growth, but they're not any good to cook with anymore. The same thing happened to us this past year. We harvested so many onions that we couldn't eat them all. And so instead of throwing them out or putting them in the compost, I decided to divide them and to see if we could grow more onions out of them. So with the new green growth, the onion bulbs started to deteriorate to help support and give nutrients to the new growth. And so the outside of it was papery and it was just starting to fall apart and smell really bad. I took those onion bulbs and laid them all out, and I decided to divide them. So the first step that I did was I took a knife and I carefully cut into the first bulb. And I started peeling back each of those layers until I got to the very middle of the onion bulb. Once I got to the middle of it, I looked and there were these little onion sets that were joined together. So I carefully pulled them apart, or in some cases I had to use a knife. So each of my onion bulbs gave me anywhere from 2 to 4 new onion sets. Once I had those all pulled apart, I accidentally damaged a few, and I decided to plant all of the onion sets. So for the most part, I planted them in these pots, which is fairly unique. I put them in these pots so that way I could control the amount of moisture and just keep an eye on them and be able to identify which bulbs and onion sets that I had accidentally nicked or damaged in that process. And so you can see in this pot that I had it labeled that I accidentally injured these while I was dividing them, and they've grown these beautiful bulbs that are growing perfectly well, and I wouldn't mind using them. So all these onions, you can tell, are ready to harvest. The first sign is that it's starting to flop over. The bulbs are about the perfect size that I would want to use in the kitchen, and they're beginning to flower. So these onions are starting to flower because they are biennial plants. All that means is that they grow, mature, produce seed, and die within 2 growing seasons. And since these onions were grown last year and I took from those onions we grew last year, they're beginning to flower, and you can see it with this flower stalk. But these are ready to harvest, and all I'm going to do is pull them out of this pot and let them dry for a few days and take them inside to store them. If you want any more information on how to harvest or how to store your onions, you can check out this video we did last year.
We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.